Hey everybody, and welcome back again to Kerbal Space Program. Today we are going to launch something on a chemical rocket, which is weird because I said I was going to do just space planes, but I had an idea for a drone, an unmanned single stage to orbit space plane, and I came across a problem. It being still enough in the atmosphere to not be able to use the longer range antennas, but yet not high enough to get picked up by orbital satellites. So I had this idea, which I have, for whatever dumb reason, named the Daedalus Project, to build a ground-based support network of communication relays to basically aid in getting of a unmanned spaceplane drone into orbit. And so I'm using these very light, very cheap suborbital rockets to build this network, the Daedalus Project. Now, the cool thing about this is, I talked about it a little bit in my last episode, is that it requires you to use the flight computer that's built in with, oh goodness, remote tech. Remote tech basically gives you a way to upload commands to your unmanned spacecraft and will execute them in order based on a timeline you give it, and it gives you a whole lot of really cool options for doing this. Even if the probe doesn't have contact with the Space Center, which is really useful, especially if you're going to be doing like deep space operations where you're on the far side of a planet. You need to make a braking burn or any other maneuver, really. Or if you're going through a fiery re-entry and you cannot have your antennas deployed. As you can see from this map, I've already got a couple of these drones deployed along a flight path. This is kind of the final key that I will need in this effort to deploy this drone. Or, yeah, my spaceplane drone. So we're on our last stage here in trying to put this little guy on course to where we want him to be. I did launch one along a 270 degree trajectory because I figured, well, if they're going to need help taking off, they're probably going to need help landing. I might in fact have to do one more of those just to clean up any gaps. But this is the last one on the 90 degree the ascent trajectory. And so we're not trying to get a full orbit here. We don't need it to go all the way around the planet, which is why this rocket is so tiny. With a really good flight pattern and perfect execution, if you use up all the fuel on the braking booster, it is possible to put one of these into low Kerbin orbit, but that's not really necessary for what we're doing at this point. Basically, we're going to try to set this one down right near where we picked up Jeb last time. In this in the valley. It's kind of off about 3/4 of the way around the planet from, well, halfway around the planet from here. But yeah, past that little peninsula, past that little bay, and over here in some of these highlands. Now, obviously, you want to way overshoot because you're going to lose a lot of this speed and thus distance on re-entry. 8 minutes and 2 seconds, and that will give us an altitude of 33,000 meters. Okay, that's about where I want to start making my calculation. 7 minutes. Oh, I'm in time warp. Wow. Okay, 7 minutes 18 seconds until roughly about the time when we hit Atmo. I feel like I should go back and recheck that altitude, but you know, we're just going to play this because we don't have a whole lot of time. So we have to enter in these commands quickly. First one we're going to do is to tell the probe to hold at retrograde. That will keep the engine side facing in and the heat shield facing down. And hopefully we want to do that all the way down because we want it to land right side up. Now we're going to tell it to make a braking burn at 100% throttle for 20 seconds and 420 seconds time, which gives us a 7-minute delay. So in 6 minutes and 55 seconds, it's going to burn that engine for 20 seconds, which should just about burn it out. And then We just got to make sure that we give it plenty of time to let the engine do its burn, and then we're going to ditch it. Now, since all of this happens in real time, there's no pause feature. As time ticks by, it's kind of like building in a delay. Alright, let's just double check something here. 6 minutes, 36 seconds. That should be way into the atmosphere, and about when we're hopefully slow enough to start deploying parachutes. So we'll go ahead and tell it that in 6 minutes and 40 seconds from now to deploy some parachutes. The problem is with deadly re-entry, if you deploy your chutes and you're still going entirely too fast, they just tear right off. 6 minutes and 19 seconds, we'll be almost on the ground. What kind of altitude will we see there? Whoa, 2,000 meters. Alright. But yeah, if you deploy your chutes too soon, they get torn off. If you deploy your chutes too late, well, you're already a smoldering crater. But really, even if you deploy those chutes at 500 meters above the ground, where they open up, there's still a good chance you'll save the spacecraft. I don't remember which two I deployed before, so we're just going to go ahead and fire all 4 of those. Lower the landing legs. For some reason, toggling these with the G key through the flight computer doesn't seem to work very well. So we're just going to key them in manually. Alright, 5 minutes, 25 seconds. Which is... Let's just let it count down for a minute or two here, because I just want to make sure that we're not decoupling things that are still during engine firing. Alright, this is the most important command here, is to tell the antennas to turn themselves back on. Now, I've set it for 10 minutes 45 seconds because I want to make well ensure that we're on the ground, we're stationary, we're not rolling around or crashing when those things redeploy and it regains contact with the satellite network. So, alright, in 300 seconds, that's about 5 minutes. That's just before the landing legs deploy. We're going to ditch the heat shield. Oh, buddy. Oh. Yep, I completely forgot. Let's kill the delay, then let's turn the engine on. How about that? As if we wanted to actually be responsible for any braking whatsoever, it needs to be turned on. Alright, well... we're still on a pretty good course here. Nothing really left to do, I suppose. We've got landing gears coming out, chutes that will deploy, antennas that will deploy, heat shield will ditch, engine will fire, decoupler will fire. Let's just, alright. We are officially out of connection, so this is entirely running on the data that we've loaded to the flight computer. This is kind of where you just have to sit back and hope to all that is good, high, and holy that you didn't screw up your timing and that you did everything you're supposed to. Uh-oh. I see a problem. We're still 30 seconds from burn, and we should be done with our burn and have ditched that by now. But really the big thing here is, are the parachutes going to deploy when you want them to? Like I said, if you're still too fast, they're just going to tear right off, and that makes the whole mission pointless. Alright, well... Okay, the engine's cooling off now, so it looks like we're not going to lose our little drive motor there, but it's also going to be highly ineffective. Every little bit helps. So, yeah, there's our burn. And, well, we're slowing down plenty. Oh man, 3 seconds until chute deploy, 1 second. Yeah, we lost a chute. We lost 2 chutes. We lost 3 chutes. Uh-oh. Oh, whew. Okay. 2 out of 5, that ain't bad. And the drive section is falling away. And we should be, yep, there it is. Landing leg 1. Landing leg 2. Landing leg 3. Oh no. This isn't good. Uh-oh. We might be a little top heavy without that heat shield. Where's the fourth landing leg? Oh, come on, man. Stay up. Oof, uh-oh. Alright, well, it looks like we had a landing leg fail to deploy. Maybe I didn't click it. I swear I got all 4 of them. Oh, alright. Still no connection. Yep, no connection to send command on. Command on. Learn to read, dude. Nothing to do but keep our fingers crossed and hope for a soft-ish landing. We're kind of wobbling around a little bit. The drone core is still trying to hold retrograde, which it is failing to do. Oh yeah, and of course the downhill side is the side where there is no landing leg. This is going to be a terrible, terrible tragedy. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, come on. Really? Alright, well, it's still mostly intact. I think we can work with this. Maybe? Alright, well, now we just have to wait another fast-forwarded minute for those antennas to redeploy. Bing! There we go, and we have connection again. So this is still mostly a success, right? Yeah, toggling the landing gear isn't going to do anything, but all 4 of them work, so I must have just not clicked it right. Yeah, and that's not going to roll us the right way. Alright, well, we have to get this thing deployed. Just because it's upside down doesn't mean it won't function. I mean, if this were a real thing, it'd probably be a problem with directional antennas being on the down-facing side. But, alright, first step, make sure it can stay powered up, which means we're going to deploy our solar panels. Yeah, it says broken. Broken means it won't deploy. Now, also, if this were the real thing, we would have just destroyed about all of these already. They're not really designed to be a weight-bearing structure. Yeah, broken. Alright, we can deactivate one of those short-range antennas. We'll leave the other one on just in case. Whoa! Alright, fine. Oh, great. I just broke 2 more panels. Alright, well, let's get this side up. Alright, well, we'll just bounce it on these highly sensitive and very expensive communications equipment. That seems fair, right? Okay, well, let's turn them on and pick our targets. So, Geosync, self-descriptive. It's a geostationary satellite. The other geostationary satellite. Yeah, Stargazer, which is at the appropriate geosynchronous altitude but highly eccentric, and then one for active vessel. And we'll close that off, and that's about that. So, well, alright, it's staying powered on, even though it's not much direct sunlight. And we'll just have to see if it holds out through the night. But in good news, it is connected to at least one of our geostationary satellites there. Oh, that's low range. The one's out there, far edge of the screen. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Next time, drones.